Doctor, you're back here today because we found you out, correct?
I haven't been found out.
Sir, your court testified in this courtroom on May 23 of this year, correct?
Yes.
A few days ago, correct?
Yes.
Before your testimony, put your hand on the Bible, correct?
Yes.
You swore to God you're going to tell the truth, correct?
I did.
And then, sir, you were challenged by me on your credentials as an epidemiologist, correct?
I was questioned.
Well, did you consider it to be a question, sir, or did you consider it to be a challenge?
I considered it to be questions.
You don't have a degree in epidemiology, correct?
That's correct.
In fact, sir, you don't have half of the program completed as you suggested to the jury. You have exactly 11 credits, correct?
Correct.
And if one were to rely upon the official transcript from the Harvard School of Public Health, it would show that you only have 11 of the 40 credits needed, one more than a quarter of the way through, not nearly half through as suggested, correct?
Correct.
And, sir, you told the jury you got all A's.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, the grading system wasn't even ABC, was it?
No, it was graded on individual papers, the net result of the end of the year.
The grade that you received on your transcript, sir, was it an A, B, or C?
It wasn't ABC.
And do you recall telling me, when I asked you the question, do you recall your grade, sir? And you saying A's. Do you recall that?
I do.
Without equivocation, without hesitation, without thinking, without pausing or anything else. You just said A's, correct?
Correct.
Without saying, well, I don't remember the grading system. We may have been graded on papers. It's been 20 years. I'm not sure. You didn't say any of that, correct, sir?
I may have taken a few minutes to answer, but yes.
You may have taken a few minutes to answer. Don't you remember I was standing right here, you were standing right there. I said, what were your grades? And you looked right down at me and said, A's. Isn't that how it went? We were all here, sir. Don't you remember?
Yes.
Do you remember the attitude, sir, that you portrayed when you answered the questions? When I said, if we got your transcript, they'd be all A's, and you said, oh, yes.
I don't know what you mean by attitude.
You tell me today, when you sat here days ago, you don't recall what the grading system was?
Well, yes. I committed an error. I made a mistake.
Oh, an error. Well, sir, did you tell the jury, I don't recall?
No, I didn't tell them that.
You didn't commit an error, sir. You made something up.
No, I committed an error.
So would you agree with me that your grades are a material part of not only your credentials, but your testimony, sir?
Yes.
And when you were here, you gave the jury incorrect, false facts about your credentials, correct?
I gave them mistaken facts about my credentials.
Since you gave this testimony, sir, on May 23rd, have you been advised by anyone regarding the criminal penalties for perjury?
No.
Sir, there's a big problem. I don't mean a little problem. I mean a big problem with your opinion. Do you know what it is?
No, and I'm certainly not going to guess while I'm sitting here on the stand.
Well, sir, why don't you look at the charts we have in front of the jury? And why don't we look at the chart that you were found the 146,000 on? You see that? 146,000?
I see it.
And do you see the where it says patient? That's where you got Suzanne, the patient's name, correct?
It's Lucy W. Massey.
I meant Lucy for this purpose. Lucy, yes.
Right.
Spouse, Lucy W. Macy, above patient name. Who was the actual patient on this blood work, sir? Who?
I'm dumbfounded.
You're dumbfounded.
I thought perhaps Paul Massey, he's also a physician. I thought maybe he ordered the test and the patient was Lucy Massey.
The actual lab slip that you relied upon, sir, is not the lab slip for the spouse. This is a fertility case. They both had blood work, correct?
Correct.
And this isn't the lab slip for the wife that you're relying on. This is the lab slip for the spouse, the husband that you're relying upon, correct?
Correct.
146,000 is his blood work, correct?
Yes.
He had the low blood count, correct?
Yes.
It says, sir, his name up here under patient name, and the only thing about her is that she happens to be his spouse, correct?
I'm shocked.
Shocked. Embarrassed?
I'm not embarrassed. I'm shocked.
Patient name, husband's name right there. Now, you missed it?
I missed it.
Blew it?
I missed it.
The actual patient here has a platelet count of 235 normal, correct?
That's correct.
Normal range being 171 to 372, correct?
Yes, that's
No
correct.
indication of thrombophilia.
No.
The whole basis of your opinion for why the treatment was correct, right?
I was functioning under the opinion that this was a report for Lucy Massey. I never thought otherwise, and I'm incredibly sorry to the court. I'm sorry to the jury. If this played any part in your decision, I'm sorry.
Well, sir, the fact of the matter is that she had a normal platelet count, correct?
Yes,
She did not have thrombophilia, correct?
that's correct.
She didn't need heparin therapy, correct?
Correct.
Your opinion that the heparin therapy is justified is wrong, correct?
Correct.
And there's only one last question. What time is the plane back to Chicago?
Not soon enough.
Each and every one of those patients who goes to surgery has a formal consultation with a pediatric cardiothoracic surgeon, correct?
That's correct.
And in fact, the parents actually speak to the pediatric cardiac surgeon before the surgery, correct, sir?
That's correct.
That's one of the ways you can tell, one of the many ways you can tell if there's been a formal consultation. Namely, there's been a formal discussion between the surgeon, not only the cardiologist and the neurologist, different doctors, but with the surgeon and the parents, correct?
That's right, yes.
No such discussion here, correct?
Correct.
There was no formal consultation here, correct?
Well, not by that definition, no.
By that definition, by any definition, correct, sir?
Correct.
When surgery is going to be performed, it is the standard of care to have the formal cardiothoracic consultation, a formal cardiothoracic consultation, correct?
That's correct.
There was no formal cardiac surgery consultation with Dr. Ball, correct?
Correct.
A formal consultation, sir, would include reviewing the studies, reviewing the medical records, reviewing the reports, seeing and examining the child, writing a consultation note in the chart, and documenting conclusions and opinions in the chart, as well as having a discussion with the parents. All those things constitute a formal consultation, correct?
That's correct.
None was done by Dr. Chow at any time, correct?
Could you restate the question?
None was done by Dr. Chow, none was done by Dr. Scully at any time, correct?
That's correct.
Once surgery is planned, once there's a plan for surgery, a formal consultation at that point, you would agree, is needed, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you're aware that there's testimony, indeed, that there was a plan for surgery, correct?
Yes, that's right.
And once this plan is in effect, that would be the time you would agree to have a formal surgical consultation, correct?
Yes.
It's not sufficient at that point to just have an armchair or a curbside or a walk-by or a drive-through, correct?
That's right.
It's not sufficient just to be down in the echocardiogram room, discuss the patient with people who happen to be there, like was the case here, correct?
Correct.
In your institution, sir, there is a policy and practice in effect before any patient is scheduled for a procedure that the cardiac surgeon will meet with the parents, discuss the options, procedures, and risks, and also have a formal consultation comprising all of those things which we already discussed, correct?
That is correct.
And that rule, sir, is never violated, correct? Never violated or never should be violated, correct?
Except in emergencies, correct?
Yes, except in emergencies. And this was not an emergency, correct?
Correct.
Dr. Kelly, let me ask you this. There are times when you don't get certain non-emergent services that are in everyday life, that if they don't happen quickly, you make a call back, correct? Yes. For example, sir, you want to make an appointment. It's not life or death. It's not whether you're brain damaged for the rest of your life. It has to do with whether you're going to make the theater or dinner. You've had that circumstance, haven't you? Where you call a taxi? Yes. And the taxi doesn't come for a half an hour. Call back, don't you? Yes. Dr. Kelly, you ever order pizza out? Objection. No. You never order pizza delivery? No. You ever order any kind of... It gives me heartburn. That's fair enough. How about without the tomato? You ever order any kind of food to be delivered to the home? Sure, like Chinese food, maybe. Okay, we'll go with Chinese food. You place the order, and you're waiting for 45 minutes, and they still don't come with the food. You call back and you say, "Is my order on the way?" Correct? Yes.
Objection.
And, sir, for an ambulance, for Dennis Richardson, he deserved the same kind of call that you would make for your taxi cab when you were waiting to go to the theater, or for the Chinese food that you didn't get delivered. Correct? Objection. Yes. You would deserve a lot better than if your Chinese food was running late. Correct? Yes.